Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to STEM NOLA Home. I'm Dr. Kelvin Mackey, President and founder of STEM NOLA. And once again, it's an honor to stand before you and talk about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We started STEM NOLA 17 years ago. We started STEM NOLA in 2013, nearly 8 years ago. And since founding STEM NOLA in our garage, we've engaged over 65,000 young people, over 17,000 families, and over 1,500 college students and STEM professionals as college interns and volunteers. And I'm very happy and proud to say that we've put over $1 million in the hands of college students, in the hands of college students as interns. And today you'll meet a very special college intern who will be presenting to you. Today we'll be studying technology, and I'm very excited about that. You all know that we're going through a technological revolution, and technology is taking over society. And more importantly, since we have this technological revolution that's going on, we have to be very focused and hypersensitive about cybersecurity. And we have with us today our friend, one of our partners, cyber.org, is going to talk about cybersecurity and careers in cybersecurity. So parents, we do this because in the 21st century, our children are going to have one of three options. Either they're going to take something, break something, and or make something. And if we don't give our kids the education they need to make a living, make a life, make a difference, that's only going to leave them with the two options that they see on the news every night, and that's to take and to break. And we don't want that for any of our children. In the 21st century, we're either training ourselves from the neck up or we're training ourselves from the neck down. If you're training yourself from the neck down, then your competition in the 21st century will be the automatic machine. And you hear things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation. As a matter of fact, the pandemic, COVID, has expedited the automation plans for many corporations. Many corporations had a 10-year plan. They had to squeeze into 12 months to automate their processes so they can serve us in the middle of a pandemic. So as we go forward into the future, technology will play a greater and greater role in our life, and cybersecurity will become more and more necessary. What I have before me here is an automatic machine. This is a humanoid. A humanoid is a robot that tries to mimic a human. This is a humanoid named Alpha, made by UB Tech Robotics, one of the largest robotic builders in America. Alpha can do many of the physical activities that you can do, like push-ups. Get it, Alpha? Alpha can even show off, just like you. And just like me, when I get off my Peloton, I take my time getting up. Alpha takes her time getting up. And if you think you're going to go into the entertainment industry and take it over and be the next Beyonce or Michael Jackson and hit those bad moves, Alpha coming for you too. Get it, Alpha? Go, Alpha. Do that, Alpha. You see the servos? Those are motors. And we can program those motors to mimic human behavior. Alpha can even twerk it out. Alpha just wants to show off now. Get it, Alpha? This is going to be the halftime show soon for the NFL. Bunch of dancing robots. Give it up for Alpha. That's your competition. If you're training yourself from the neck down and you think you're going to do physical labor in the future, there are scientists, technologists, STEM people sitting around creating humanoids and robots to do that work. Any labor that competes with slave labor, and I proclaim that the robot is the slave of the 21st century. Any labor that competes with slave labor must suffer the consequences of that competition, meaning you cannot win. So you need to train yourself from the neck up. The only way we defeat the robot is by training our heart and training our head so that we can control a robot and the robot and machines do not control us. That's why we're here. That's our why. That's why it's important for us to study technology. And more importantly, that's why it's very important for us to have organizations like cyber.org, who's at the forefront of cybersecurity and making sure that big machines like this and big systems like this can be protected from hackers, but also from even international enemies that want to do harm to us. And with that, I want to bring up Josh Corry. Josh has a BS in mathematics and an MA in teaching and an MS in mathematics, and currently he's working on his PhD in computational analysis and modeling from Louisiana Tech. And Josh is the curriculum specialist at cyber.org. And cyber.org is one of STEM NOLA's premier partners in southern and northern Louisiana. So Josh, welcome to STEM NOLA.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. And I love that robot. That is so fun. I need to get me one of those. I have a robot as well, but it's lame compared to that one. But like you said, my name is Josh Corry. I work for the Cyber Innovation Center. It is located up in Bossier City, Louisiana, which is probably as far as you can get from New Orleans and still be in Louisiana if you're unfamiliar where that is. So it's up by Shreveport, all the way up over there. But I am originally actually from Ponchatoula, so it's a 45-minute drive from New Orleans. So after graduating high school, which Ponchatoula High School, of course, is where I went. Like you said, I went to Louisiana Tech University and I studied math. And then I was like, you know what, let me study more math. He said, I'm getting a PhD in computational analysis and modeling. I like to tell people that the CAM in that program, computational analysis and modeling, actually stands for computers and math. It's a lot easier to remember, but it is very closely related to the field of computer science. And if you're unfamiliar with computer science, that is the study of problem solving using computers. So whether your problems are business related problems or whether they are more engineering related problems, it doesn't school related problems. It could be almost anything, but it's just solving those problems using computers. And what I do specifically at cyber.org, I'm a curriculum development specialist. I want to talk a little bit about that and how that is going to shape the future of educating you guys on the next technologies that are out there and what you can do to learn those technologies and create stuff yourself. So I actually create materials and for our teachers to learn more about technology, and then they take that and they go on and teach you guys. So what I teach specifically is programming primarily. And actually, I love that you were showing a robot. I mainly do programming. When I'm teaching programming, it's programming with robotics. So I have this little robot. It only just rolls forward, back, left, right. It could detect where walls are. It doesn't dance like that. It's not the next Beyonce or anything like that, but we teach the teachers how to communicate with that robot at the level of the computer, the brains of the robot itself. So there's not a button on the robot that says, hey, this robot needs to go forward or this robot needs to go backwards. The teachers need to be able to construct a program specifically that says, hey, move this servo. So you spoke about servos. Again, move this servo in this way and this servo in this way just to get it to do what you want it to do. So it's really communicating with the brains, being very specific about what you want that robot to do. So your teachers need to understand how to program so that they can go on and teach you guys how to program, and you can go and create the next cool robot that's going to be in the halftime show of the Super Bowl. Or what I'm crossing my fingers for is one that does my laundry. That would be absolutely fantastic if somebody can make that. But so in the workplace itself, so that's what I teach, which is really at the core level of technology, I would say. But just in the workplace, whenever I am working from day to day, we have to create these materials, and there's a lot you have to do or understand on the technology side of things in order to create quality content. So whether it is just something as simple as typing with all of your fingers, not just your thumbs on a device, that is one very fundamental skill right there that uses technology. It's a very simple aspect of it compared to, I would say, programming. But that is something that you do need to be able to learn and understand, and will use daily in whatever job you would end up with in the future, for sure. But you need to be able to make and create documents. You need to be able to put those documents online. So that's what I end up making documents and putting them online and creating a nice interface, using the programming skills I've learned to have the teachers be able to access that content and download it and then deliver it to you guys. That way we don't have to write all of this out and then mail it to people. That's in the past. That is definitely in the past. But another thing that I've been making a lot recently is actually YouTube videos, and you'd be surprised at the amount of technology that goes into that. It's more than just opening up your phone and making a video with your phone. You really need to understand what's happening with the technology and what different video qualities there are, what cameras are available out there. Maybe you need to understand a little bit about the internet and maybe do you have the bandwidth in order to upload those videos? So there's a lot involved with that, and a lot of technology you do need to understand. Another thing, so whenever we do deliver content to trainings to teachers pre-COVID-19, pre the pandemic, we would actually travel around a lot. And this is probably my favorite part of what I have ever done with this job is the traveling, because you get to see really cool places with that. But I've never really traveled much before technology, the big boom in technology that you were talking about. And I cannot comprehend how people traveled before this boom in technology, because I use it for every step along the way. When I book my flights, I go online and I have to use technology for that. It gets synced with somebody created this, somebody who learned how to program. They created this system that keeps all this information secure, that I can go in and check my flight and make sure that I am actually on that flight, or check in and tell the airline that, hey, I'm here, I'm going to be there, and I booked my rental car, I booked my hotel. Did people before just show up where they needed to show up and say, hey, do you have a hotel room? I don't know. That's before me, but this technology really helps with that. And then Google Maps too, or mapping devices that let you arrive in a city that you don't know, or a place you don't know, and then all of a sudden you know how to get around it just magically. That will always remain incredible to me. But it is another way that I use technology daily as I go about my work. But what I want to encourage, and this is in closing, what I want to encourage that all of you do is to create. So go out and talk to your community leaders, your teachers, and try to find the resources you need in order to create stuff. Whether you're creating a very simple video game that can eventually turn into a really awesome Xbox Series X video game, or a PlayStation 5 video game, or maybe it's just a little website that you wanted to create that lists out just who you are and about me, essentially. But go out and make, because by making stuff, that is truly where you'll figure out, okay, I need to research these aspects. I need to learn these things in order to make more. And by learning that, you're really going to grow as a person and be able to succeed in this field of this technological field altogether. So thank you so much. I appreciated you having me here.
Thank you, Josh. Oh man, your passion just comes through, and it's always beautiful when you can see someone who loves what they do. I look forward to working with you in cyber.org. As soon as we can go back in person, we're going to be up there, we're going to visit, we're going to sit down and see how we can get some good things together. Josh, what you don't know about me is that my first degree is in mathematics. I got a BS in mathematics, and then I went and got a BS, MS, and PhD in mechanical engineering from Georgia Tech, but my PhD was in theoretical fluid mechanics. So, we're in the same boat. Sometime I wonder, I must have been crazy. I claim, 8 years of mental health issues because I studied that for 8 years. People say you don't have mental health that long, man, because you just loved it, and I did. So thank you, Josh. Thank you for being here. Now, next up, early on I told you that STEM NOLA engaged STEM professionals like Josh, but we also engage college students. We believe a high-functioning community is child-centered, adult-governed, elder rule. We focus on the K-12 students. The adults in our community are the college students who we train and pay because they got to carry the load. And then we surround them with professionals like Josh and myself to provide wisdom and guidance for everybody. So everybody can see themselves somewhere in the pipeline. And I'm happy today to have our college intern, Paris James, who just completed her freshman year at the University of Miami. She don't want me to say this, but on full scholarship. I love saying that because I want you all to know that you can go to college for free too, using your mind. You don't have to use your arms and your legs unless it's out there at the beach looking good and swimming. So she's majoring in architecture at the University of Miami. And this is her first time presenting. We're very excited. Paris James.
Hello, my name is Paris James, as Dr. Mackey said, and today we're going to be going over an activity about what's an insulator and what's a conductor. So before I get into the activity, I'm first going to tell you all what's on the agenda. So today on the agenda, we'll go over our vocabulary terms, we'll go over our objectives, then we'll go over some activity questions that we'll then circle back to after our activity. And then after the activity questions, we'll go into our activity and figure out what's an insulator and what's a conductor. And then after the activity, we'll go back to those questions that we talked about before and see if we remember. So, our vocabulary words. Our first vocabulary word is insulator. An insulator is a material in which electric current does not flow freely. Examples of an insulator are rubber or wood. Our next vocabulary term is a conductor. A conductor is an object or type of material that allows the flow of charge in one or more directions. An example of a conductor are metals. Metals are great conductors. Circuit is composed of individual electric components such as resistors, transistors, capacitors, inductors, and diodes, connected by conductor wires or traces through which electric current can flow. Our next vocabulary term is electricity. Electricity is the set of physical phenomena associated with the presence and motion of matter that has a property of electric charge. Electricity, as we see, can flow around us through lights and the things that we're going to see into the activity when we put circuits together. So, on the agenda today, what's the question? Which of these is not considered technology? Rubber, cell phones, an alarm system. So which one do you all think that this is? Correct. It's a rubber band. A rubber band is not considered technology. So next up, we're going to go into our objectives. Today, you will understand the meaning of the terms insulator, conductor, current, circuit, electricity, and apply them to the project correctly. You will examine insulators and conductors. Our objective question: what are we experimenting with today? Rockets, technology, buoyancy, and density. So which one do you all think it is? Correct. We're experimenting today with technology. So before we get into our activity, we're going to figure out what are the questions of the day. So if you want to take a moment to take a picture or write these down, because we're going to circle back to these questions after the activity. So the first question of the day is, what are the best electrical conductors? Is plastic an insulator or a conductor? Is penny an insulator or a conductor? Make sure to write these down or take a picture because we're going to come back to them. So we're going to move on to our activity. But before we get into our activity, we need certain materials. The materials that you need are 3 alligator clips, an LED light, batteries, a battery holder, and some household items. Like today, I'll have a penny, a popsicle stick, a plastic toy, paper clip, and that we're going to be testing to see what's an insulator and what's a conductor. So as you're grabbing those items, I'm going to read to you all the science behind it. Some materials allow electric current to flow more freely than others. These materials are called conductors. Other materials are resistant to the flow of electric current. These materials are called insulators. Conductors and insulators are both important in the field of electronics. The best electrical conductors are metals. Metals tend to have electrons in the outer layer of their atoms that are freely shared. The opposite of a conductor is an insulator. An insulator opposes the flow of electricity. Insulators are important to keep us safe from electricity. So, did you all get those items? If so, we can move on to our activity. So, I have my battery holder. I have my alligator clips. I have my batteries. And the items that we'll be testing to see what is an insulator and conductor, and also an LED light. So first, we're going to take our battery holder and put in the batteries, but remember to check which side is positive and which side is negative. So once we have our batteries inside our battery holder, we're going to have two wires, a red wire and a black wire. The red wire is the positive wire and the black wire is the negative wire. We're going to take one of our alligator clips and connect it to our positive wire, which is our red wire. And then take another alligator clip and connect it to our black wire, which is our negative wire. And then you're going to grab your LED light. There should be two sides onto it, a long side and a short side. On the long side is the positive side, and the short side is the negative side. So we're going to take our alligator clip that's connected to our black wire, which is our negative wire, and connect it to our LED light on the shorter side, which is the negative side. And then take another alligator clip and connect it to the positive side of the LED light, which is the longer side. Just like this. So once you do that, you should have two alligator clips that are not connected to anything. And this is where we test out which of our items are an insulator and which of our items are a conductor. So we can first test it out on this wooden popsicle stick. Connect your alligator clip to one end and the other alligator clip to the other end. Just like this. And as we see, our LED light is not lighting up. Therefore, wood is not a conductor, meaning that wood is a great insulator. So we can try it out on this paper clip. Connect it to your alligator clip, and then we'll connect it to the other side. Well, do you all think that this would be an insulator or a conductor? I think it'll be a conductor because as we learned, metal is a conductor. See, the LED light is lighting up because the paper clip allows for electricity to flow through. So now we can test it out on a plastic toy. Okay. So now we tested it out on this wooden popsicle stick, and we've tested it out on this metal paper clip. We learned that this wooden popsicle stick is an insulator because it doesn't allow the electricity to flow through and the light does not light up. But however, we found that this metal paper clip is a conductor because the LED light did light up because it allows for the electricity to flow through. So next we can test it out on a plastic toy. Connect it to one side with your alligator clip and take the other alligator clip and connect it to the other side. See, the LED light isn't lighting up, meaning that plastic is not a conductor. Therefore, it's an insulator. And so we have a penny. Do you all think that a penny would be an insulator or a conductor? Let's see. So we'll connect it to one side of the penny. and then we'll connect it to the other side. And as we see, the LED light is lighting up because a penny is a conductor. It's allowing for the electricity to flow throughout the wire. Okay, so now that we've gone through all of the materials, we can see that this wooden popsicle stick is an insulator. This metal paperclip is a conductor. This plastic toy is an insulator, and this copper penny is a conductor. So maybe we should go back to our questions of the day to see if we remember any of the things that we just did in our activity. So remember the questions of the day. What is the best electrical conductors? Is it metals, plastic, or paper? I think, in my opinion, just from the activity, that it could be one of the ones that we call it a conductor, the metal paperclip and the copper penny. So correct, the best electrical conductors are metals. The next question is plastic an insulator or is plastic a conductor? Is it an insulator, neither, or a conductor? Correct, plastic is an insulator. Our next question of the day is penny an insulator or is a penny a conductor? That's really good. A penny is a conductor. Okay. Oh, make sure you send your pictures for the webinar. Email any pictures to the webinar at webinar@stemnola.com. So if you all have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or ask them. And if not, I'll return it back to Dr. Mackey. Thank you.
Give it up for Paris. Give it up for Paris. Way to go, Paris. You did a great job. Looking forward to you doing more this summer. So remember, like Paris said, make sure you send your pictures and video or pictures to webinar@stemnola.com. We love to show. We like to show our sponsors what y'all are doing. We're going to talk about, we got a slew of camps coming up. We have a slew of, I don't even know, is that a word? Slew, is that the right word? There's a plethora of activity that we'll be engaging in this summer. Help you all with your vocabulary. The first camps that we have are technology camps coming up. We have session 1, which will be on artificial intelligence. Very excited about that. June 14th through the 18th. Session 2 is on designing your own video game. Session 3 is robotics and programming with the UK units. I have the UK units sitting right here. The blue is the beginners, and the yellow is the what it is, not intermediate. And there's also an advanced camp that we won't be hosting, but UB Tech is hosting that camp. That if you feel that you are beyond the beginner or intermediate, you should definitely look into registering for their upper level camp that has artificial intelligence in it. And the third, then we're gonna have a camp on Raspberry Pi microcomputing. And then session 5, July 26th through the 30th, we're gonna have 3D printing and modeling camps. Now, also, for those of you who are considering camps, we're gonna have camps for UB Tech that we'll be announcing at a different time, but we have, what else do we have? So we have virtual camp registration is open for Central Louisiana. If you're in Central Louisiana, around Alexandria, make sure to register for those camps. All those camps will be virtual. I believe our camps, the camps that are just announced, they're gonna be in person, right? They're gonna be in person, but if we have some spaces in the other camps and you're away and you wanna register, I'm giving you permission right now to register for those virtual camps, like the one in Central Louisiana. We have virtual camps going on in Shreveport, Louisiana. All these are sponsored by the Department of Defense. We have a virtual camp along the Gulf Coast from Gulfport, Biloxi, Pensacola, Panama City Beach, Fort Walton Beach. If you're in that area along the Gulf Coast, we have these free virtual camps that's being sponsored by the Department of Defense. My thing is this, I don't want any camp to go unfilled, right? So I'll fight the DOD if they say, well, the person wasn't in that area. Well, we don't want to have a resource and we can serve a kid and we don't serve a kid because they're not in that area. Maybe if so many kids start registering outside the area, then sponsors will say, well, you know what, we need this in our area. So look at those camps. We have a virtual STEM Saturday coming up in Grambling, STEM Grambling, the Grambling Shreveport area on June 5th, and that is on the force of friction, force of motion, the force of friction, and they're going to make a hovercraft. We also have a virtual STEM Saturday coming up June 12th for Central Louisiana. And again, if you're not in those areas and you register, you will have to pay a fee to get the kit shipped to you. STEM NOLA, is this STEM NOLA? No, STEM Baton Rouge. We're having a Heart and Circulation Day for STEM Baton Rouge on June 12th. And all of this is on our website. Now, STEM Baton Rouge camp, we are very, we make sure that the kids are from the Baton Rouge area. What we're trying to do is build capacity in these areas. Okay? STEM NOLA will be having camps all summer. So if you're in St. Tammany Parish, the St. Tammany Parish government is sponsoring a STEM Saturday. It's going to be a virtual STEM Saturday on June 19th. In July, we'll be in person in St. Tammany Parish. Also, we are starting our in-person STEM Saturdays in July once again. And we are now working out the details on how we can do a blended STEM Saturday. So like to my man, Javen Moore in North Carolina, we're not gonna leave you hanging, right? So we're gonna have an in-person STEM Saturday. Now the in-person STEM Saturday for STEM NOLA in July will be rockets. It's very difficult to do rockets virtually, but we're going to see what we can do because we still can send a kit and you do the activities that we do before we launch these big rockets. And hey, we'll even tell you how to buy a big rocket and you can go out with your dad, your brother, your cousin, your mom, whomever, mentor and launch the rocket on your own, okay? So we're thinking through this, but we're gonna be here for you. That's my promise. We're gonna continue to do this. We're talking to companies all across this country that want this model in their community. So you never know when this model would be in your community and you could be out in the park at a recreation facility doing this with your friends because every kid in America deserves what we are giving the kids, not only in New Orleans, but in these other areas now. So I hope you all had a great day. Go to our website and look up the camps. If our camps do not suit you, Google camps in your area and see what it is that you can do. All of you all deserve and should be engaged during the summer. We've lost a lot with COVID from learning, and also we don't want you to continue to lose via, with summer learning loss and not being engaged during the summer. Now, when we started this over a year ago, we started it in the summer. Well, we started in April during COVID, and we were doing it at 1 p.m. Central, and our numbers were very high. After school got back in, we dropped it to 4 p.m. Central because we wanted to make it available after school since a lot of kids were in school. So we're discussing now for the summer, we may go back to that 1 p.m. Central time. So if you're in a camp, your camp can use it, but if you're at home, then you have something to do during the day instead of waiting all the way to the end of the day. All right, we're open to recommendations from whomever. If we can do better, let us know. If you think that we could pick a better time, let us know, and we'll work on it. So again, y'all have a great Memorial Day weekend. I'm out of here. I'm headed to Mexico for vacation, much needed vacation on the beach. Hopefully I get some fishing in, and I hope you all have a great time. See y'all in 2 weeks. We'll be here next week. Well, STEM NOLA will be here next week. I won't be here next week.